You remember the image. A rookie cuts, lowers his shoulder, the crowd roars, and in one impossible beat, the whole night changes. For Cam Skattebo, that highlight reel life turned into a hospital trip in an instant. The New York Giants' fourth-round pick ripped through defenses all season, then suffered a devastating injury against the Philadelphia Eagles that ended his rookie year and rewired the team's plans. Surgery went well, but the diagnosis was grim: a dislocated ankle with a fractured fibula and ruptured deltoid ligament, and the Giants placed him on injured reserve as they begin the long work of roster repair. NBC Sports. Roland. So why am I talking about a partnership with furniture right after that? Because sports lives in more than pain and X's and O's now. It lives in brand moments, culture, and the business side of a player's life. On Monday, Cam Skattebo announced a deal with Lovesac, the tech-forward furniture company known for its stealth tech sofas that tuck speakers and chargers into the couch. The social post was low effort in the best way. Skattebo, recovering at home, kicks back on a stealth tech Sactional, boots up NBA 2K, and writes the kind of line that feels both like an ad and a promise. Run through a wall, then relax and vibe on my Lovesac stealth tech. That's my game plan. It was a little defiant, very on brand, and oddly comforting. Yahoo Thethao. There's an emotional geometry to this that's worth pausing on. A rookie's identity is forged on the field. Practice reps, pads, the grind that builds trust. When a player like Skattebo goes down, the public reflex is grief plus speculation. Will he come back the same? Will the team's identity change without his burst? But there's also a private story that often gets lost. The player who must suddenly become a brand manager, a patient, and a rehab fanatic all at once. The Lovesac post isn't vanity, it's stability. It's an athlete saying, I'm still me. I still have fans, deals, and a life beyond this moment. That's a small but crucial mental win on the road to recovery. Yahoo Thethao. Let's put the football facts on the table because this matters. Before the injury, Cam Skattebo carried 110 times for roughly 410 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns and added meaningful receiving production as a rookie, numbers that suggested the Giants had stumbled on a playmaker. Those numbers aren't a fluke. They were the foundation of a runner who brought both violent inside work and soft hands out of the backfield. Losing that kind of versatility shifts how the Giants call games the rest of the season. And Devin Singletary will eat snaps, but the unique pocket of energy Skattebo created, that's gone for now. NBC Sports medical reality is blunt. Open dislocations, fibula fractures, and deltoid ligament ruptures require surgical precision and patient rehab. Doctors typically map recovery in phases: wound care, bone healing, then gradual loading and cutting work. And even the best-case timeline looks like months, not weeks. Sources reporting on Skattebo's surgery say it went well, and he's expected to be ready for off-season work, which is the most optimistic reading. Optimistic doesn't mean easy. The journey back is a daily ledger: pain-managed progress, physical therapy milestones, and the slow, stubborn reclaiming of confidence when contact resumes. ESPN.com. Let's talk culture. The locker room loses a motor when a player like Skattebo breaks. He wasn't just running for yards. He was a tone setter, a fourth-round kid with a grin, a backflip, and a kind of locker room currency that lifts teammates. That personality has currency that doesn't show up on stat sheets. It turns in-time reps into an identity, it helps young quarterbacks trust a check down, and it makes opponents prepare differently. Giants coaches will now have to manufacture that energy elsewhere. Sometimes it's a rotation, sometimes it's a different schematic emphasis. The mental work for the team will be finding a way to let someone else carry the energy without pretending the cup isn't missing. Athlonsports.com. From a brand perspective, this Lovesac partnership is smart on multiple levels. Lovesac gets a rising NFL star with a blue-collar, personality-driven narrative. Skattebo keeps building his off-field profile while he rehabs, and fans get a humanizing moment: a rookie playing video games on a fancy couch while plotting a comeback. It's a reminder that professional athletes are necessarily public entrepreneurs now. Contracts and endorsements cushion pain, but they also create a rhythm. Your public voice feeds sponsor value, and sponsor value fuels long-term security. For a rookie whose playing time just evaporated, that security matters more than you'd think. Yahoo Thethao. Here's what to watch next: football side and human side. Medically, follow the Giants' updates on his rehab timeline and any mention of weight-bearing milestones or early agility tests. Roster-wise, track how the Giants split carries between Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Devin Singletary, and whether New York pursues short-term reinforcements via free agency or the practice squad. Brand-wise, watch for more of these partnership posts. They'll tell you how Skattebo is using this downtime to keep momentum outside the lines. Each of those signals snaps the arc of how a season-ending injury can turn into a reset instead of a derailment. NBC Sports' one more practical reality: fantasy owners and NFL front offices notice these details. When a rookie shows promise and then gets hurt, mid-season improvisation becomes a theme. Coaches will simplify game plans, favor ball control sequences, and lean on what the replacements do best. Off the field, a player's marketability during rehab can help the team's PR narrative and the player's future earning power. Skattebo's Lovesac post is not a distraction. It's an outcome of a modern league where health, finance, and identity intersect. Athlonsports.com. Let me give you the emotional last frame. Picture Skattebo in that Lovesac clip, headset on, surround sound thumping, controller in hand, a gamer's grin on his face. Off camera, there's rehab, ice, surgical scars, and the slow boredom of recovery. On camera, he's doing something small and human, relaxing, vibing, sending a message that says, without arrogance, I'll be back. That's the kind of quiet resilience that becomes a comeback script. Fans may be hurting now, but narratives have chapters. For Cam Skattebo, this one ended in surgery and began with a couch, and sometimes the softest places make the best stages for getting up again. Yahoo Teithao. If you want a tight, punchy VO script for a video, openers, B-roll cues, and exact line reads to match the Lovesac footage and the hospital update sound bites, straight the word, and I'll write it straight through in crisp American English, ready to drop into your timeline. What do you do when the season rips out from under you? A dislocated ankle, a fractured fibula, a ruptured deltoid ligament, and the world still wants to know who you are. Do you disappear, lick your wounds, and wait for an obituary of potential? Or do you stand up, take a camera, and remind everyone you're still very much in business? Cam Skattebo chose the second option. One moment he's on the turf watching the city tilt away, New York Giants fans holding their breath as the trainer carted him off after that Week 8 hit. And the next, he's on a Lovesac sectional with Stealth Tech surround sound, controllers in hand, grinning into a camera, like this pause was just another level to beat. It's a small image with a loud message. The body may break, but the story doesn't have to end. Let's rewind a bit. The kid from Arizona State, a fourth-round pick who arrived with a chip and a highlight reel, exploded into our screens this year. Through 8 games, he had 410 rushing yards and 5 rushing scores. He caught 24 passes for 207 yards and 2 more touchdowns. For a rookie, those are not just numbers. They're proof of impact, sudden, versatile, and game-changing. Then the injury happened, abrupt, brutal, season-stopping. For a player in the middle of making a name, that's the nightmare act of every sports drama. You train to survive hits, right? But you don't train for the silence that follows. So why does a furniture deal become the headline? Because how an athlete handles being sidelined says as much about their career as what they do on the field. Skattebo's announcement with Lovesac is not just commerce, it's strategy. Lovesac's Stealth Tech is lifestyle theater. Speakers and wireless chargers baked into a couch, the kind of sleek, social media-friendly product that fits right into highlight reels and lifestyle posts. In a single Instagram moment, Skattebo lounging, surround sound blasting NBA 2K, he turns a recovery timeline into a brand narrative. Come for the comeback, stay for the vibe. There's a poetry in that. Football is a fragile business. Contracts and highlight reels and endorsements are all built on performance, which can be indistinguishable from luck. But the modern athlete is more than raw yards. He's a platform, a persona, a collection of touch points fans can interact with off the field. Skattebo already had deals with Nike, Raising Cane's, and Logitech. Those aren't just vanity checks. They're signals that he's marketable, relatable, and interesting to audiences outside MetLife Stadium. Lovesac slots right into that portfolio because it's about relaxation and domestic presence, an image any comeback story needs. Rest, reset, come back stronger. There's also the rehabilitation calculus. Recovery is months of monotony interspersed with little victories. A brand partnership does something practical in that stretch. It gives an athlete public breathing room. Instead of being judged each week on a stat line, he's allowed to show a broader life, sponsorship posts, product demos, and little windows into non-football rhythms. That matters mentally. Rehab is not just about physiotherapy. It's about identity work. When you can say, I'm more than my last play, you can survive the season